Wonderful.
I want to
Part of which
there.
I see Lynn Rowe. I see
Yes.
Charles Tippett. I see David Newland. Andy Huntley.
Welcome to Mr. Jefferson's parlor.
Okay. I like it.
Being from Charlottesville, I have to occasionally take advantage of these situations.
I like it a lot. It's very pretty. Charlottesville, North Carolina.
Virginia.
Virginia.
Charlotte, North Carolina, I was born in, but Charlottesville, Virginia is where I grew up.
All right.
1 second.
And then Lynn Boyles, I don't see you. You're
You
smiling.
don't see me? I'm here. What do I need to do?
Click on the video.
There comes some more people.
Great.
Okay, click on the video. Start.
Hi.
Okay, I don't see.
Let's see, how do we guide her here?
Bottom left-hand corner.
Oh, thank you for helping her.
Not a problem.
Is that gonna do it?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, you're there.
Good.
Lynn is from Georgia.
Thomasville, Georgia.
Yes. And Lynn Rowe is
Okay.
going to be talking at the end as well.
I got it.
And she's from Australia, Queensland.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's just kind of go around the
I'm
room.
from sunny Queensland.
Again?
You'll have to. I have to apologise for my voice. I've got laryngitis again,
Yes.
so it's going to be fun. We're going back to seminary tomorrow, and I've got to teach. So this is going to be interesting.
All right. And Alan Towns, you're from Australia as well.
He's from Thomasville. He's our leader.
That's right. Okay. And so I did pull up a slide on Take Me to Your Leader at the end so that you can talk about your
Good.
favorite part of that.
Alan, click the bottom left under Start Video.
There we go. And how
You're an expert now, Lee.
now we have Jan. Is Jan here? I don't see your smiling face. Jan, where are you from? Oh, that's Alan.
Very good. Sorry.
There you are.
Okay. And Jody Orton. This is great. Well, we're glad to have all of you here. And we'd like to start with a word of prayer. Would you give that for us, dear? Okay.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this opportunity to discuss this material, and we ask that Thy Spirit be with us, to guide us, inspire us, and to communicate the messages that we need to. Grant us the will and the ability to train those who are consultants and to reach out to those who need to find their family. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
And have we started recording?
Yes, you have. It's recording.
It is. How can
Okay.
you tell?
It says so.
Okay, good. That's great. So, which is great because if you find anything of value in this, then we want you to guide people to it and watch it with them. And maybe, you know, the more people we teach about family history and teach how it's really easy, the better and the more work can be done. So with that, pull up our screen if that's okay with you.
Pull on it.
And go ahead and start the show.
Let's see if they can see us.
Yes, can you see our screen?
Can you see our screen?
No, you need to press the big green button at the bottom that says share screen.
Okay. We're still a little new at this. Thank you.
Start the show.
There we are.
Great. So we're going to give you a few tools today to help you, help your consultants become quickly acclimated and comfortable in their calling so that they'll go right out and help analyze these for success. And if we could all hit mute for me. Yeah.
If you have a question, chime in.
Okay.
Let's see, now mute. You want to mute? Want us to mute?
That would be great. And then we'll call you in as we get closer to the question and answers. Okay, go ahead.
Everybody good? We're going to help your consultants become quickly acclimated and comfortable with their calling. NASW family history. What is a consultant flip chart? We're Ted and Karen Meyer, North America Southwest multi-stake
Right.
temple and family history consultants. They recently changed that. Hopefully they won't add more to it. So the overview of this video, we're going to show the correct login for consultants, encourage consultants to dive in, open up a cheat sheet or a consultant flip chart, effective use of the consultant helper or planner resource, and how to contact us if you need assistance, new partners for partner access. And
We have some guest speakers.
Brother Carl Tippett will be a guest speaker, and Lynn Rowe and Lynn Boyles.
Yes.
So let's get started.
So until 2017, there'd never been really any consultant training. People would get a calling and not quite know what to do. There was extremely spiritual family history classes, but then the church disbanded the prior curriculum and asked us to start using the one-on-one spirit-led preferred experience.
Stressed to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. We get a lot of emails, and we find it's sad that they're lacking in training the consultants, and felt it couldn't live up to their title.
So how can you learn to be a consultant and teach others if you're just learning yourself? So one gal would stay in the family history library the entire hour. She wrote that she was never called one ward member to analyze their tree, and eventually she wrote out her time and was released and became a counselor in a presidency. That's not what Heavenly Father wants. Even President Thomas S. Monson said, "We're going to make mistakes, but none of us can be an expert in family history without first being a novice."
It is in doing, not in just thinking, that is what has accomplished our goals. President Thomas S. Monson.
Go ahead.
Through prayer and inspired guidance, we were led to this plan, which leads to success. Consultants working with the elderly, consultants teaching older primary youth, coming into young men and young women, and working with 10-year-olds as President Oaks requested. Family search apps have increased the knowledge of our children, our youth, and have made it fun for consultants to show them temple opportunities. Since the church adopted a one-on-one method developed with a flip chart for temple and family history consultants.
Formerly, we called this a cheat sheet, but that's against everything we believe in, cheating, hence the correct name. We call it now the flip chart. It just helps the consultant stay on task and helps them know what to do next when working with a patron. In the absence of an instructor, when they go home, sometimes consultants are overwhelmed with so much knowledge. They forget half of what we taught them. So this gives them a link to where they can watch a one-on-one again on the YouTube, and so that they can increase their self-confidence. With Heavenly Father and prayer, you will soon find that you don't need the flip chart anymore, but it's a wonderful help in the beginning. So where do I begin?
Help and guidance is only a prayer away. Always start with prayer.
If there are no lesson manuals anymore, what are we supposed to teach?
The one-on-one personalized experience, consultant, planner, partner access.
And who are we supposed to train?
All members of your ward, regardless of the claim, all my work is done.
Who do we report to?
You report to the temple and family history leader, who reports to the elders quorum.
And what is our goal?
Sorry, I'm admitting people into the meeting.
Okay, and what is our goal?
Support the missionaries, help with the converts, and work with members under the direction of the bishop.
So I'm afraid I'll mess up without a lesson manual.
No fear. We have a consultant flip chart to help you remember what points to touch upon from your training.
Great. So the first thing you need to know is that if you have the correct login as a consultant or someone working in the family history department of your ward and stake, then you will get the correct messages from Salt Lake City. If you don't have the correct login, if someone has just made up a great login, a great title, right? But it's not going to get you the messages that you need. So we've had our name changed several times. It's just a title. What you need to do is you need to have the knowledge. So make sure you look in LDS Tools and it says Ward Temple and Family History Consultant or Temple and Family History Leader. If you are the Temple and Family History Leader, a Melchizedek priesthood holder, and your wife is the consultant, then hers would say Ward Temple and Family History Consultant. As you log in with the correct login, you should see something, a graphic that says get started and understanding your calling and discovering the Temple and Family History Consultant training. To find the consultant planner, they've changed it a little bit. So now you go to help, the drop down says helper resources, and that takes you to the consultant planner. I still call it the consultant planner. We refer to it, sorry.
Helper resources, now the consultant planner. We refer to this resource as the consultant planner or planner. So we showed on the family search last year, every member should be trained on this and use of its resource.
Since then, they changed the name to helper resource. Non-members cannot use the planner as it utilizes ordinances in its mission to assist consultants find opportunities for the temple.
There we go. Technical difficulties, still new to this stuff. When using the flip chart along with the planner, as you work through the planner, you will use the flip chart as a checklist to make sure that you got all the high points. Most important thing to begin with is prayer. We know the spirits are waiting for us to do this work. They want to be found. Focus on your senses and they will guide you. Use your gift of discernment you received in this calling. And don't be surprised if you're led down a path by the Spirit where you never expected to go.
A consultant needs to be proactive. So be a self-starter. Don't wait until someone asks you to do it. You can do this. Split up the ward list and call members. Explain that you are a new consultant and you'd like to look at their tree to find opportunities for success. You'll let them know that you're sending an email, and that's done right through the system. And all they have to do is click the OK button to let you analyze their tree. Once they click the planner acceptance, you will see their name in your added file. So why is it so important to find out what their goal or vision is for family history? Well, your ideas might not be their ideas. It has to be their idea to work. You want them to work on family history and you want them to be invested or committed in the process. They will want to accomplish what their mind has already identified as a goal. So it might be to learn how to record and upload a memory before their grandmother passes. It might be to harvest and perform ordinances. It has to be their idea.
And their goal might not be the Spirit's goal.
Right. We've had some interesting sessions that way too. Okay, so the one-on-one personal experience. The consultant calls each member and sets up a meeting, sends an email requesting access to the tree. This first page of our flip chart helps them to analyze the tree for errors and opportunities, and then they create a lesson plan. Then they meet with the patron using a flip chart. It helps them hit all the high points. The consultant shows them links where they can watch what they covered when they were back home. And they ask them to do 1 or 2 things, not a lot of homework.
Don't overload them.
The next page reminds you to ask what their goal is. This is very important. Your agenda may not be their agenda. So once you know their vision, you'll be able to zoom in on those relatives he or she is most concerned about. And this page shows you troubleshooting tips so that after a few times, you'll be able to look at the fan chart and see exactly where it dead ended. And we're going to show you a few of those today. So mouse over means to move your mouse without clicking anything so that you can see all the names. You're looking on this, in this particular situation, you're looking for 2 last names, husband and wife, where someone has named Mrs. John Smith or Mrs. Smith instead of her real name. That causes the database to come to a screeching halt. So you want to get rid of that. Make it blank. Get rid of, if it says Sandra Smith instead of John Smith, you know that's not her maiden name. So get rid of what you don't know. And so the right thing would be for, if you have documentation that her name is Sandra, then we leave it there. We don't put a last name in. Or better yet, leave it blank, because the database then won't pass up that bucket. It'll constantly be looking for something to fill that bucket. Your confidence will come when you review this several times with prayer. If you get stuck, it gives you ideas of ways to keep progressing. The planner, okay, like I said, the planner is just for members. And when you are working with a brand new person, we'll teach you ways that you can work with them using partner access that's very successful. Go ahead.
There are four dates that you observe silently. When was the last time a patron logged in?
So we don't want to repeat these out loud, but it's a good thing as a teacher, as a consultant, to know these things, because then you'll know what to train them on. So asking that question, when was the last time you logged in, might sound like you're judging. So they might be new. Make a note to walk them through the system next time.
When was the last time they printed an ordinance?
Well, we don't need to know the last time they went to the temple. We just want to know if they know how to print down an ordinance. So if it shows that they printed down an ordinance, we don't have to teach them that. If not, let's teach them.
When was the last time you uploaded a memory?
The way I do this is I take them right to a person's profile. We go to the memory section. I ask them to tell me a story about that person, and I type it while they talk. Then I ask them for their homework to upload a picture.
We have board members that all they wanted to do was memories.
Well, yeah, especially right after
Yeah, right after
he lost his wife.
lost his wife.
Right.
Yeah. Did they input their own sources, or is it blank at the bottom of the profile pages? Meaning they clicked on what they thought was a fully developed tree and adopted their people into his or her tree.
Well, this is really important, because you want to make sure that if you log into if you link onto somebody else's tree, are their sources viable? Are they legit? So if they have blanks at the bottom of their profiles, that shows that maybe they did kind of click onto somebody else's tree, and they haven't learned how to add their own sources yet.
Yeah, own references.
So we need to teach them how to do that. So those are 4 things that right off the bat, you know that you can teach them.
Okay, one-on-one personal experience, page 4.
Okay.
Here we go.
So this shows you interesting things that you can find in the tree. And if you point them out to them, sometimes you touch their testimony. So, and it shows you how to find them at a glance. So you can by learning these techniques right here, you can be a hero to your people in 5 minutes. So let's go. So if someone says they're from the UK, do you leave it there, or do you chase it down on Ancestry and find my past? If you look at that fan chart, you'll see that it's mostly purple, right? So purple means UK, but how many factions of the UK are there? There's, Ireland. The Republic of Ireland is different than Ireland, Northern Ireland. Isle of Man is not in the UK. But, there's several factions, England, Scotland. Okay, so let's slow down just a little bit here because this part's really important. Have you taken a DNA test? It's not mandatory, but as a genealogist, I tell you, and I have a testimony of this today, that it will really tell you if your research is going in the right direction.
You never know who's going to contact you.
Yes, exactly right. So my family, we were told we were from Ireland and England. That's about it. That's all they told us. But my DNA says that I'm from Norway and Russia. However, I've been able to get positive verification of all the Ireland and England people, and now I'm getting verification going towards Norway and Russia. And here's the interesting part. Go ahead. So there are related groups from France and Norway who ended up in Ireland. They were travelers. And the Bretons are the ones who came from France. And I've kind of found my line going in that direction. And today I got verification of it. So let's go ahead. So the Bretons are an ethnic group in Brittany and France. They trace much of their heritage groups to the Brythons who settled the area of southwestern Britain in the 4th and 6th centuries. And this fits my family exactly. So again, it's not mandatory, but it's pretty exciting when you finally see that your research is going in the right direction.
And Ancestry has through lines.
Yes, and so all of my through lines, I don't know if you know about through lines or not, but once you take a DNA test, they will link up blood relatives with a little blue dot, and you'll be able to see that you're on track. Okay, go
If that blue dot disappears, it's time you got some work to do.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that French connection in just a moment. But first, I want to show you this free alignment checker. So when you get the PDF of this program, you don't have to take a lot of crazy notes. You can just click on these links and it'll take you right to these. What this is, it's a free DNA test alignment. So your DNA test will give you percentages, and this takes your family tree and gives you percentages as well. And it's free. So I can kind of tell you if you're going in the right direction. So in the consultant planner, it's not the same color chart, but it's the same idea. It shows you birth by countries. So sometimes we get excited about finding data and we save it in our tree. So how many arrivals do you show in your profile? Like arrivals, immigration. Sometimes if you have more than one and it's not the right family, it's going to become a data magnet, a bad data. If you see the flow of the color of the chart go from one generation to the next as it approaches the middle and changes the color, and then after skipping generation, then you need to check your countries and check your documents. See, so it shows that they went to England, then they went to United Kingdom, and then they went to England. That's easy to fix. But it would be better if we knew what countries they came from in that area, not just United Kingdom. So this is a perfect example. So let's say in 1700, your ancestors came from Sweden, then they went to the UK, and then they went to USA. Well, that's normal. That sounds good. And it seems to fit. But those trips were long and arduous. They weren't going to come here and then go back to have their children, right? So if you see that the data changes colors and doesn't match logic, then just go back and check your data.
Sources, yeah.
Yes.
Make sure they line up.
Make sure they line up. Here's a perfect example. So you have John and Mary Jones living in Massachusetts. You have J and M Jones living in Massachusetts. You have J and Mary Polly Jones living in Massachusetts, and they all came looks like within the 3 years. If you save all three of those immigration files, you're going to be collecting until you know for sure. You're going to be collecting information on 3 different families.
So
and
what
that's
do you
going to
do?
drive you nuts.
What do you do? Put them in your shoebox?
You put them in your shoebox, or you copy the files and send them to yourself in an email until you're sure, and then put them in your tree. Birth years. So this is a great heads up. How many times, I don't know how many of you have researched the Daniel Boone family, but they've named all their children after the aunts and uncles for several generations. And so you get children born before the parents. Have you ever had that happen? Shake your heads, yes. And sometimes it's generations. Sometimes it happens and just skips generations. So you look for the data flow. There should be a child where a parent should be. There could be a child where a parent should be. So let's look at the chart so they can see what I'm
What
talking
my
about.
dad used to say was, well, if your parents never had any children, you probably won't either.
That's right. All right, so this daughter, she was born in 1796. And she should have a green date, but she has an orange date. Okay. So then the next one. It says that the mother was born in 1806. That's 10 years after the daughter. So that if you see a zigzag in the color, then you know you might have a problem with your data. That's just something that you can pick up real quick. Does that make sense to you? Good. And then this is a great opportunity for training on uploading pictures and stories. If you look at the fan chart by the memories, you can see that in the 1700s, it's white. There's nothing on those people. So how do we find things like that? Well, what we do is we go to images.google.com. Oh, well, let's talk about this one first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And with that link there, Stories Family Found app, we investigate something they call all the stories. If you want to add stories to your tree, that's the way you get it. And that's the way you look at them.
So this is what the software looks like when you input your family search data. And let me show you what it does. So it turns your family tree upside down and it shakes out all the stories. Those things to the left of the big circle of dots, those are stories that you could print down and make a book of your family. And you could print it on Amazon for free. So where you see the dots, that's a family that has a story to tell. And all you do is go to that website and log in with your family search login.
All the stories, sometimes a story is worth 1,000 pictures.
That's right. So where can I find these pictures? So we go to images.google.com and input your surname and input any information you know about that person. And then on you might find charcoal drawings, early mixed media items, oil paintings, sometimes even pictures of dolls with likenesses of your ancestor. Also in Google, that's where I found my great-grandmother. There was a cemetery, a family cemetery, and her name was in it along with all her relatives. No.
That's a golden find.
It was a golden find.
Just hope one of those dolls doesn't turn the head by itself.
No, let's keep going. Jeez. All right, longing to belong. So both Ted and I are converts. I joined when I was 27. And though we are all children of God and belong together, some feel that more so that they need to have true blue, dyed-in-the-wool pioneer heritage to belong. And if you point out any pioneer heritage that you find, and there's an app that'll show you if your new member has a pioneer heritage, it'll make them feel amazing. Also point out any members who went on missions. And I just happen to have one in the 1930s, went on a mission. So it kind of made me feel like, hey, someone in my family believed the same as I do, which is wonderful.
You know, or they may find a relative back in the ways who was a member.
That's right. That's what you found.
Yep.
You never thought it.
Show them their heroes. Use the app and show them one-on-one experience of having an ancestor who fought in our country.
That's right. We need more heroes. So this is one of the last pages, and it just tells you to not overwhelm them with homework, because you just want them to come back next week so you can go through it again. All right, next one. All right, and then the last page of the flip chart is when you are, let's say you are, you've sent them home, and then they're like wondering, what do I do first? Well, these links can take them back into their training and show them, it'll remind them of what they're supposed to do. The first time you hear this, it might be Greek because you get a little overwhelmed. However, next page, please. All right. So in summary, and can everybody make sure you're muted?
Meet in a one-on-one to discuss and go over what they found. Review and answer any questions. Ask them who they will show this to. Tell them you will check back next week and see how it went. Give them a consultant flip chart to share with the person so they don't get overwhelmed. We print these on cardstock to ourselves, back to back, and laminate them, but that's just us.
You don't have to do that. You don't even have to print them in color.
What are the 2020 focuses? You have 3 focus areas. We were told to get new members to the temple within 60 days of baptism with their own names. If the bishop agrees with the brethren, 60 days is an optimal time for retention. Help start training at the primary leadership on tools and teach kids at 10 so that when they go into young men and young women at 11, they will be prepared. Do research as they are ready to do baptisms for the family's history. Make sure that you do a one-on-one with each ward member and give them a gift of partner access.
So how can we help? How can the Temple and Family History Consultant help new converts? They will teach them about family search and give them a free login and password. A lot of times they'll go out with the missionaries now. That's really important because, as Gordon B. Hinckley said, the most important thing a new convert or a person being taught can have is a friend in the gospel. So the consultant is assigned by the Temple and Family History leader to be their friend and to help them establish a tree. Once they're baptized, the consultant helps convert the account and helps them reserve and print names. They can't see the names and reserve names. They can't do any of that before they get baptized. So then they can help the person get partner access. They can teach them the one-on-one consult method and the consultant planner. And this is how we work this in our stakes, and it's very successful. You can choose differently if you want. We're not trying to influence your priesthood revelation, but we are here with lots of great ideas that seem to work.
Our mission president loves it.
Our mission president loves it.
Why don't we link to just any family tree? Linking to any family tree is like playing a telephone game. The tree could be based on what Grandma said to Aunt Lily, not based upon documentation. If you do not see any viable sources, you should not link to that tree. Be the type of genealogist that other people want to link up to your tree because you have corroborating data and references.
That's a great standard to have. So now we have a special guest from St. George, Utah, and his name is Brother Carl Tippett. He's the first counselor in the Elders Quorum Presidency of the Southgate Ward. And he sent us some great notes, and we made some slides from the notes. So we're going to kind of be showing him these slides and asking him his opinion on different things. So Brother Tippett's, the Ordinance Ready program that the church has set forth is the preferred way to research, reserve, and print ordinances, cards for temple work. But we agree with you that if you think you're all done and you can't seem to find any more, then try Hope Chest. So how has that helped you?
Immensely. information systems technology and the thousands of man hours of document indexing have made it possible for hundreds of us to complete our direct line family trees back 10 or more generations. But just because you've identified 1,024 people in your direct line doesn't mean you've reached the limit of your family tree. Think
Keep going.
When you find one of these missing people, you can do some data mining. This vast collection of indexed documents in Family Search and its partners are a great way to find the missing pieces of information. The Ordinances Ready thing finds names that you can take to the temple, but it leaves you with many more people who need ordinances, but they're not ordinance ready. So you start with them and you go into these other documents and partners to mine the data they need so that you can make them ordinance ready. They might need just a simple thing like a standardized name, a spouse, or they might have a missing child. Some of these people may not have any posterity to search them out. And descendancy research is a way to identify these people.
That's great. Let's go to the next slide. So you and I started doing our research back in, I just started in 1978 when I joined the church. And I had to use microfiche and all kinds of prehistoric technology. What do you remember about this?
Well, I remember before electric typewriters like the one you've got pictured there.
Uh-huh.
I remember a long carriage manual typewriter that sat in my mother's extra bedroom for years. And I remember sitting in front of a microfiche reader for hours trying to translate a Pioneer Heritage document. It's just amazing what we have available to us now that we didn't have then. I can do more family history work in 15 minutes from my home than my dad could do in 40 hours on site at the Family History Center in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
And as we complete data for 10 generations, we become aware that there are more people in our family than just our direct line. The descendants of our ancestors need our help too.
Absolutely. And this shows 10 generations right here. So you're telling us that which one of our partners will search 10 generations down to me?
Well, Ordinances Ready will search down 10 generations and will search back 10 generations and back down 5, but it only reports out a very limited number of names.
Oh, that's right.
So you need another tool. And to me, that other tool is Hope Chest. It does that searching for you.
So let's look at this. It reports all parents who have incomplete data.
Yes. And like I said, Ordinance Ready limits you to just a few ordinances. Their intention there is something you're going to take to the temple right away.
Yes.
Hope Chest is more of a guide tool or a research tool to get you started looking at these people. And it's like the developers of Hope Chest have said, it does not replace the research that you need to verify it, but it gets you started in the right place and gives you a way to keep track of where you've been because you can select the starting ancestor.
Yes, I see that. And it lets you set a date range.
Yes, I prefer to go back no farther than 1600. I find data that's before 1600 is very sketchy and subject to problems. So I cut it off at 1600. And then I cut off the other one like at 1910 so that I'm not getting into the permission needed part of the world.
Right. And then
I've got enough problems without that.
Exactly. So it says, does it eliminate duplication? No. So you just go back in and just verify that they haven't been.
Yes.
The ordinances.
Yes. Every name that Hope Chest reports out must be looked at and verified.
Well, that's great.
There's no way of getting around that at all.
Okay. Let's see what we got. So you also use Take a Name, and we know that there's some pros and cons to each program. And you mentioned that this program starts scanning backward, starting with you, then offers a report. But since it does not report the search pattern, it's difficult to track. What does that mean?
That means that if you're trying to keep track of where you've searched, so you'll know where to search again the next time, you can't do it with Take a Name. Take a Name starts you with your name and search back until it has 100 names. Now you don't know whether those 100 names came from your maternal, paternal. You're not sure where they came from. You research the names, check them out, and share them with the temple file, but you're not sure where they came from, and it does stop at 100 names. Now I have seen Take a Name scan back into the 1600s, so I know it's powerful, and I know it can do a lot to help you, but it does have some limitations. And the other thing about Take a Name is it works from a smartphone. I have yet to see it on a computer. But this is great because you can get the youth started with it. You can get busy people started with it. They can find the names, and when they request them, they get reserved into their family search account, and then they can do the checking and verify it. And I say once it's verified, you can either print out the name and use it yourself, or you can share it with the temple.
Wonderful. All right, moving right along. So there are different technologies that you can use or places on the web. And this one is a great one to find out what's coming out or what, where the bugs are. It's tech.churchofjesuschrist.org. And one of the things that they said about Take a Name was the speed with which such apps provide opportunities is appealing. And I have used some of them myself at times. They have their place, but there's a danger that users will seek quantity rather than quality of opportunities and do not do the research needed to verify that these are potential ordinances are truly needed. So they should be used with caution and only as an early step, not the final step in finding needed ordinances. So I thought that was interesting.
And I agree 100%. It's a starting point. It is not the finishing point. But the alternative is to go through family search, name by name, family by family, and that's just too time consuming. There is a better way. You don't need to walk to Missouri again.
When we're doing descendant work, we use Pozilla, and we really enjoy that. We have training materials if anyone wants to request them. We'd love to share them with you. But we really liked what you said about that. He said, to me, Pozilla is like, go ahead.
It's like a Boeing 747. Does lots of things. It's big and it's complicated and very impressive with its graphics.
But
Hope Chest is more like a Cessna 180.
I love it.
Now you take me to Alaska and you count the Cessna 180s that are saving people's lives and making a living. There's more Cessna 180s than there are people up there.
Exactly.
But that's what it'll do for you.
Yeah. So in conclusion, tell us how you feel that this has helped your family.
Well, my basic assumption for my descendancy research is that people in family search that have not been reserved or shared with temple file, that means they're in the green temple folks, do not have an active family search sponsor. That suggests that their family data may be incomplete, and it could lead you to end-of-line people who have nobody looking for them. Over the last 2 years, I have added over 300 people to my family tree based on these assumptions. During this effort, I also found several hundred tree members that were in the green temple category. So from mid-2018 to September of 2019, my family and friends completed an average of 35 ordinances per week for my family tree.
That's amazing.
With the renovation closing of the St. George Temple fast approaching, the crowds in the temple pushed me to share the 1,603 remaining people I had in my reservation list with the temple file and quit searching. Currently, my shared file is down to 1,551 people. This works out to be about 9 ordinances per operating week. This seems small, but it does prove that the temple file is not, I repeat, is not the Dead Sea of genealogy.
Well,
To some, moving 1,500 plus people from green temple category to temple file is just an ordinance shell game. To me, I have improved the chances for some of my ancestors to get their ordinance work done before the millennium and helped identify some end-of-line people. By small things, great things are accomplished. That's scriptural and Quorum of the 12 repeated.
well, we were really impressed, and we really thank you for coming here tonight and showing us how to do family history in a little different way.
It's been great. I love it.
Yeah. So now we want to reveal this great new partner and partner access. It's called, I think, if you speak French, which I don't, I think it's called Filet. And you can join for free at Partner Access. Hit it. We're going to move right along. All right, so you just sign in at Partner Access with your regular Family Search login. And if you have family French ancestry, you're going to find something very special as soon as you log in. I logged in 2 days ago. I want you to see what happened. Remember how I said that I was looking for some data that showed a link between Ireland and France and then Norway and Russia? Well, I'm finding it. And they told me within 48 hours. Click, 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 click.
And France has always been kind of dicey.
That's enough. I really identify with Ireland. Keep going. All right, so they sent me all these leads within 48 hours. So that's our big family history reveal tonight. So sign up for a new partner to help you with your research and see if you can get your DNA to match, go a little farther with your research. So what have we accomplished tonight? We've got some special questions and answers and special guests. Sister Lynn Rowe from Queensland, Australia, and Sister Lynn Boyles from South Georgia, and then one other towns, I think. And they wanted to speak about these things, so we need to make sure that she's unmuted.
Okay, make sure you unmute yourself if you're going to talk.
And she wants to, these are some of the tools that we've created, and they're going to tell you how they use them in their family history research. So Sister Rowe, take it away.
Okay, I just need to say that currently I'm not a consultant. I'm actually a seminary teacher. So, but I was a consultant and I was, go on, Karen.
For a long time.
I was a consultant for over 10 years, a ward consultant. And then I was called as the stake consultant that was doing all the training. But then our stake split and I never got put back in and I got called as a seminary teacher. So that's where I'm sitting at currently, teaching seminary. And believe me, it's so different and I'm so tired.
All right, so what do you like about this family history annual planner?
The fact that there's responsibility there. You've got to report to someone. And I know when I was a consultant, apart from, this is my husband, Michael. He's here with me. He's actually a consultant. He's a former high counselor over family history. He brought in something similar to this when we were in the ward and in our stake. And it makes people responsible for their calling because they have to report to someone, and it is fantastic.
Thank you.
It then also gives the bishopric a good idea of what's going on in their own ward. Because,
exactly.
Yeah, and I'm finding this in seminary too. If the bishop knows what's going on in his own ward, he feels like people are doing their callings. And they're not just wandering around the corridors not knowing what they're doing because they have to return and report.
Well, let's explain how this works. So once a quarter, the stake president would love to know what's going on with the wards. And this gives the bishop an opportunity to pass it out to his leaders, to Relief Society, to primary, to the youth, and ask them, what 1 or 2 things are you doing for family history per quarter? And then if they're stumped and they don't have any ideas, all they have to do is click on the hyperlinks, which take them to ideas for Relief Society, or ideas for family history events, or ideas for young men and young women for family history. So then they can put down a date they're going to do this activity on. It goes back to the bishop, and then the bishop can look at it and say, hey, it looks like the Relief Society is going to go to the same museum that the youth are. We should make that a ward event. You know, he can coordinate things a little better if he knows what's going on in the different factions. And by having them fill this out, they can't procrastinate that they're going to plan something for family history. They got to put something down. So they come up with an idea, and then the numbers get tallied to the very end at the last page of the annual report, and it kind of gives every quarter, gives the stake president a pulse on what's happening in the wards. And we've just gotten some great responses to this. So I put this up on our OneDrive tonight for you if you're interested in it. There's where it says down at the bottom, it shows exactly how to use it. I've locked the formulas in so you can't erase the formulas, but at the top right corner, if you feel like you need to change something and you're really good at Excel, there's a password on how to change it. So
I think what's good about this too is it makes people think in advance. Like there's ideas for planning. Like where it says temple days for the ward, it makes the bishop and the elders quorum presidency and the Relief Society presidency say, right, this is the definite days that we want to go. So they can tell the members in advance, because what we're finding in our ward is they will announce on the Sunday that there's a youth baptismal session on Friday night.
uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, or when I was consultant, I was getting phone calls going, Sister Rowe, can we come to the Family History Centre next week? Sister Rowe, can you help us with family history on Tuesday night, please, at youth? And I'm going, okay, it's a bit late to be asking me now. You should have asked me 2 months ago.
So a great thing to add to this planner would be, do you see where it says temple days for the ward? So
Yes.
in there, you'd put the dates that and just put YW, the young women are going on this date. The Relief Society is going on this date. You don't put names of who went. But
No.
Over to the right, you could just put the email address of the person who does the ward the newsletter. Exactly. You know, and then there's part of your your marketing for it.
Media pages. You know, use social media, your ward Facebook page, your ward Instagram page, but advertise in advance so that you're not having the consultants all of a sudden bombarded with people in the last week. And it is disappointing then when the youth come to them. Number one, they haven't logged in before, so you've got to log them in.
Yes.
And you've got a week to find names for them.
Yes.
If you know in advance, and I know it's hard because I know here in Queensland, we've got 12 stakes going to the one temple.
Mm-hmm.
So the wards know, don't they, in advance?
Yeah.
Where the ward temple knows, but they're just not advertising it.
Right.
So that makes it really hard.
So I think I'll do that. I'll add that. I'll put a little note there to add your email of whoever's in charge of your Facebook for each faction, or in charge of your newsletter, or even the program, the church program, when we just start going back to church. No, Brother Towns. Brother Towns is with us today, and he's from, Brother Towns, where are you from? Georgia? No, Lynn Voiles.
This is great.
Lynn, are you here? Unmute yourself. We're looking for Sister Voiles.
Well, while we're waiting for Lynn, just letting you know, because you said that there was a new partner access with the fillet, my son-in-law's French.
Oh my goodness.
So I just sent my daughter a message and said, here's a new partner access for him.
All right.
So I've already shared it.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful.
So he's excited.
Hi, Sister Voiles is from Georgia.
Hi.
And she's here with Alan Towns. That's her counterpart from Georgia.
Yes, he should be here too.
And
I
so
saw him earlier, so he should be here.
you asked me to pull up the Relief Society checklist that I made.
I like
Yes.
So let's
This-
talk a little bit about it.
Okay. We have met several times on Zoom, and the last time that we met on Zoom, one of the leaders in our ward suggested that it might be a good idea if we have some kind of a checklist for those of us who are teaching the ward leaders, the auxiliary presidents and heads, and all the ward leaders, so that we would kind of know what we were going to teach them, and we'd all be on the same page, as well as we could actually share this with the leaders as we were teaching them, to show them that it was not an exhaustive list of things that they had to learn. We thought that might help them to be a little bit more enthusiastic about getting this training, as we found some of the people seem to be dragging their feet and not wanting to do this, and we think it might be because they're a little intimidated.
Yes.
So I talked to you, I actually texted you and asked the question if you had anything, so that we didn't have to reinvent the wheel, if you had anything that you thought might work, and you graciously led me to this, and I thought it was wonderful. Kind of, it was just an answer that I needed at the time. And there's a lot of us that are going to be training. I'm a ward and a state consultant, so I train a lot of people in the ward too. And this particular screen here shows the things that you would probably want to make sure that your leaders at least knew about. So it starts with that you have a family search login, that that you'd want to teach them about partner access. I don't think a lot of our people even know that there's over $1,000 or better of extra helps that they can get, of resources they can get, and I use them all the time. I just love them. And also, you could find out if you could also teach them how to use advanced tools to find names, if they wanted to learn that. You can also, I had added some that I saw on another, I don't remember, I saw it on another chart that you had that had a few more on it, which was, hold on and let me find it. Yeah, would you like to know more about partner access? And we need to teach that. I think that's just should be, I think it should be mandated so that they have more places they can go. And also to, let me see, print 4 generations. That's at the very least, we want to teach them how to do that so that they can feel more confident in going out to family search. And I think once they get those 4 generations, they're gonna want to go out there more. And that's really what I think we should be trying to do, is to do everything we can to encourage these people that we're training to come back again and again to the family search site, to the partner sites.
Right. So the way this works is that the top part is really an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that you print out, and you put it on a clipboard and send it around Relief Society, and you get everybody to sign, and so that you can get an assessment of what they know, what they don't know, what they need to be taught. So then the counselor takes that information and she can input it. And if you see down here where the circle is, each little square, you just have to answer yes or no. We're going to schedule it, or the person moved away, or they do need to learn about family search. So once you click those, this little system keeps track of all those yeses and nos, and watch what happens. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the next slide, you told me to pull up the logistics, and it'll give the president numbers that she can take to correlation and look like a rock star.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than walking down the the hallway, seeing the bishop at the other end, and he's going to say, "Hey, how's family history doing?" And you're the first thing you think of is just, "Oh, we're fine. We're doing fine. We're doing great." But wouldn't it be great to be able to say, "Oh, Bishop, we taught 7 people how to do partner access. We have 4 people working with a consultant. We know we have 7 people that are going to learn advanced tools next week." You know, and you've got the numbers that are only for him to know that he has a good pulse on his ward. How's that? They're not for any other reason.
Right. Right. And that was the other part I liked about it. It was kind of a dual joy for me, because I realized that all of our auxiliary leaders would probably really benefit from this particular chart, and just having it in their organizations to send around and actually get a pulse on what their people that they're over are doing, and then to be able to report that to the bishop. And then I also noticed on there where it will automatically go on that correlation report if you set it up that way. I guess I don't know anything about Excel, but I'm assuming that you can set it up so that it would go.
It goes right here. Right.
Okay.
So this report, all you do is go hit file and print, and it's already formatted. So it'll just print out, and you just take it into your meeting, and you've got numbers to show them.
That's wonderful. And I just thought that was a wonderful way to get the whole ward involved, and for us to be able to teach the people that are leaders that this exists, because they don't know that.
Well, we're trying to give them tools that will increase their self-esteem, because they'll be able to see that they're accomplishing things. All right, next.
And Alan has, that's really all I had on that. But Alan has, yes, he's next.
Yeah.
Can I just say something here? The problem we've got is Relief Society works on its own, priesthood works on its own. This will be great so that everyone can work together. Because my husband often calls them silos. All these different silos, just thinking they're working alone. But if you can correlate it all, because Relief Society has the figures and priesthood has the figures, when it's taken to ward council, then they can say, oh, say Brother Rowe, for example, Brother Rowe, can you go work with such and such, the Smith family, because they really need help in this area. Instead of everyone acting on their own. And we're finding this is what's happening a lot here, especially where we are. Everyone thinks that they have to do it on their own. It's not a joint effort.
Well,
and those reports are great.
This form, all you have to do is save it as for young women, or save it as for young men, or save it as for elders quorum. And you've got an easy way to keep track of what you need to train people on.
Exactly. And it is so good. I'm always showing people partner access, and I do the same thing. I say to them, we have a gift for you today.
Oh, I love it.
And they get excited. But then I'll speak to someone else and they go, no, my consultant doesn't know anything about that. And I think, oh my goodness.
Send them to us. We'll teach them.
Yeah. And so I'm teaching other consultants how to do things. But just the communication across the board really needs to be picked up. And as I said, stop working in silos and let's start working together. And this is what I like about everything that you've put out.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're teaching them how to work together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Now, this is Brother Towns. I was told that you really enjoyed the video called Take Me to Your Leader.
Yes, I did. And I like what you said, making it simple. It really does break things down where you can understand the organizational structure within the ward and whose responsibilities there are. And I would really like to have these slides printed.
Oh, I'll send them to you.
That would really be great. But I found this very useful because I'm new to the calling. Although we've had a number of months past sitting at home.
Yeah.
So not nearly the experience I'd like to have had at this point.
Great. Well, You know, this little video will give Temple and Family History leaders just a great opportunity to learn what their calling entails.
Well, yeah, when they changed the structure, everyone said, what?
What are we
who do I
supposed to do?
report to?
And you know, they put a little bit of a hiccup in it again, where there's something called Melchizedek Committee, Family History Committee. Have you heard about that? That from Elder?
I've not.
Yeah, no, it was the other elder. He sent a letter out last week or so. And so that now the stake will be organizing some of the training through the presidencies. And the presidency will call a stake Melchizedek committee, which I think might be the family history people over each ward, but I'm not sure. That they're leaving it a little vague so that each stake president can decide how he wants to form his own committee. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. I uploaded some information tonight because I just got an email right before we started about someone who was very interested in this whole stake reorganization. And so I uploaded some information on that, what the kind of what their job description is, and you know what they can do within their calling.
Yeah, we've asked questions about the committee and all we hear is crickets.
My husband's quite a comedian. So we are on YouTube. What we do is we take these little videos or presentations. A lot of our presentations are live, and then we just kind of roll it into a video. So sometimes it might not have voiceover. It'll just be something that we want to make sure you get the knowledge, and you can start them and stop them and take notes and just anything that'll help you. That's what we're interested in.
And if you miss a Zoom meeting, it's up there too.
Yes, so we're starting to post all of our Zoom recordings on our website.
We have a testimony of this work. We
We experience miracles every day because of family history. We feel the veil is very thin. Yep, that's our personal motto. You can sign up for our newsletter if you already get it. We are going to try harder to get one out on a regular basis, but we're definitely going to do this Zoom thing once a month. And we're looking for emails on topics that you're struggling with so that we can show you how to solve the problem.
And if you have a problem, let us know. We'll
Yeah.
see if we can put something together for you.
Yep, we might already have the answer. It just might be on our YouTube, and we just need to dress it up a little bit for you.
I have a question. May I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. We're in Orlando, Florida.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Our ward has still not opened. Our stake has not opened to any meetings at all as yet. It may start within the next week or two. They're still reassessing because of the high numbers of positive COVID problems here in Florida. We're one of the highest in the country. And so they're reassessing. So the question is, what would you do as a consultant? I'm presuming that everybody else is meeting at least one meeting a week or not?
No, we're not.
No.
No,
We're not.
either. Okay.
This
So-
is the best way to do it, Lorraine.
Yes.
You just get your people, and you can show one of our slides if you don't have anything to show them.
Right.
You're certainly welcome to do that. Put it up and take them through it and just teach.
Okay. Is this meeting that you just had, it's so phenomenal, is this meeting recorded that we
Yes.
can have that?
Absolutely.
And all of the conversations that you've had, that will be part of it?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous. Okay, I'm a happy woman here today. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
I know COVID-19 is very transmittable, but not over the internet.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. No, it's kinda,
They let
It's-
they let Sister Rowe go back to the stake a little too soon, and she got sick.
oh, wow.
Oh, gosh.
We've been back at the Family History Center now for 4 weeks,
Oh,
and I've had 2 weeks off because I'm sick.
oh, poor thing.
You're sick
And-
with COVID?
No, I've just got a throat infection.
Oh, something else.
I've been home for 3-4 months, and all of a sudden I'm sick. And I thought, no, I haven't been anywhere. So, well, I can put it down to as a family history center, and I shouldn't say that, but but we're not getting anyone in, and so we're questioning why we're open at the moment. So, never mind.
Huh. Now, I see a note here from Brother Huntley. Are all aware that family history is not being taught in the MTCs. Actually, what we are doing is we're working with our zone missionaries, and we are training them. We actually went to the mission president's office and did a Zoom meeting with them and trained them on how to incorporate family history in with the ward.
As a matter of fact, Sharon, I've been doing the same thing with our local missionaries because it just came as, it kind of surprised me, to tell you the truth. There's one page in their manual that they use that talks about family history, and that's it. And if their ward has not gone to the effort to train them as a young man or a young woman, then they come out in the field with zero training, quite frankly. And so that's what I do every week. I hold a Wednesday afternoon training session with the missionaries, and we invite converts or those that are investigating the church to come on board. And I typically, what I've been doing is I take over the screen from their screen and I show one of the missionaries someplace where they need to do some research.
Yes.
So I give them the homework. I don't give the other members homework. I give it to the missionaries so they can come back to me. And it's, as you said before, it's been amazing what they discovered about their families.
Oh, it's
that
really
enthusiasm. Just this week, for the first time at our mission, the missionaries can finally go out and do service projects. They can't go out and proselytize. They can't go out and have meals yet, but they can go out and actually have service projects. So I've recommended that, as far as I'm concerned, finding somebody's family history they didn't know about it as much as a service project as anything else. We'll see what happens.
That's good. What we do is we have a big screen TV and we invite them to bring an investigator over, and then we do research right there, and everyone can watch how we get it done.
We're not allowed to do that yet, but it's coming.
Always start their tree in Ancestry, in your account of Ancestry. Just start a tree for a non-member.
Okay.
Has anybody ever heard this comment? Well, where do I start?
With you.
Yeah. Hey, do you know your name? Do you know your parents?
That's always a good one. All right, do we have any other questions or anything else we can help you with?
I think when a consultant is called, they really need to be told what their calling is about. Because what we're finding is they're scared because all of a sudden they're called as a consultant. They have no idea what they're doing, and the bishop has no idea what they're doing.
Yes. So on the OneDrive that you have a link to, I put a couple of helps for you on there that you can print out and give to your consultants. One is a consultant job description, kind of tells them what they need to do, where they need to start. And then the other one says, where do I begin? And how can I make a difference as a consultant? And so if they read this, then they have a better idea of the importance of their calling.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. We had one ward a few years ago that called 15 consultants. And when we spoke to those 15 consultants, 13 of them said, oh, the bishop just gave me something to do. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I'm not going to do my calling.
You know, we've had the youth do that.
Yeah. Oh, we've had youth that have been called and they've been excited. And then their parents have said, no, we don't want to drive you to meetings. We don't want to drive you to visit people. And so we're just told they're being held back. So, but I think if you've got a few in the ward, a few consultants that are excited, they can then pass that enthusiasm on to other people. Like I said, I'm not a consultant anymore, but I'm still keeping my finger in the pie so that, because I work at the Family History Center as a volunteer, so that I still know what's going on.
That's
because
great.
I had a consultant speak to me the other day, and they said to me, so how do I get a disc ready for the temple? And I went, excuse me?
We don't have a disc.
And I went, we don't have discs anymore. They can print it from home. And they went, no, you've got it all wrong. And I went, no, we've moved forward.
Well,
Yeah.
that sounds like an exciting challenge for you.
There's
It's interesting.
there's a very good website called THE, the FH Guide.
I love the family history
I love
guide.
And that will help everybody learn the same things the same way. And
Yes.
you can go back to it time after time to get a refresher or memory. And they had a section on there about training consultants.
And let me tell you about that.
I took it off.
Yes.
Yeah, they took it off because they did not want to appear to be teaching church called people what
Yeah.
to do. But there are still some hints in there and some pieces left.
Yes. And
I have a
so
question.
let me just tell you one thing
Yeah.
about the FH guide. Sometimes they have me be the like a guest blogger on there, and at Roots Tech they always ask we get to be like little ambassadors for them, and shake people's hands and help them learn about it. And it's kind of exciting. But they have the most comprehensive training to learn family history of any place that I have ever looked.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they also have a Come Follow Me companion.
Yes,
Yes.
that's important to know.
Are you talking about Roots Tech or are you talking about FH?
The family history guide.
Family history
The
guide.
FH Guide.
Well, we go to Roots Tech every year. You should look us up. We want to say hi.
It's a
As
dream.
a matter of fact, I discovered by accident in the family history guide, they actually have a section on the top 100 questions non-members typically ask, and it gives you direct access and links to how to answer that question. I shared that with the missionaries, and they're already using it because, like anything else, is a comfort level. As long as they have that in their back pocket, they feel like they can talk about anything.
Well, that's great. I'm going to print that down and give it to our mission president. Thank you for telling us about
Great.
that.
We have one of the Canadian missions that actually use the FH Guide pass-along cards for family history.
So when we were at Roots Tech, we said, give us a box full. And we gave them to our mission president, and he's letting them hand them out. So non-members here are learning about family history. All right. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Lynn. Go ahead.
That's okay. I just want to know, because things have changed, since I've been released. What is the role of the stake temple and family history consultant now?
Oh, we covered that last week. So you remember how they used to have a lead stake?
Yeah.
And they used to have a ward lead.
Indexing
And,
director.
yeah, all that.
stuff.
So they just changed us all to consultants, right?
Yeah.
But you know that those people are put in positions for a reason. They know things, right? And so that temple and family history consultant now is still very valuable to the stake high counselor over family history, extremely valuable. And so he will use him or her to train ward consultants. And if you've, one of our,
Or leaders.
yeah, so if you check back on one of our last month's,
Okay.
we discussed the role in the handbook that the temple and family history leader actually is in charge of staffing the family history center. Right. So it gives some ideas on how to do that. And one of them is we use Sign Up Genius. We have our entire stake is in Sign Up Genius, and all the leader has to do is click a button and say, please go to the Sign Up Genius and sign up for a class that you'd like to take or that you'd like to teach.
Well, in that presentation is Elder Bednar's
Elder Bednar.
guidance on what are those roles at the stake level and ward level.
Yes.
Okay. The reason I've asked is because the lady that took over the calling after me, I spoke to her the other day, and she said to me that they're not allowed to do any more training. The high counselor now does all the training, and he has no idea what he's talking about.
Right.
And
That's
I
not
said,
exactly true. He
Exactly.
can delegate.
He can delegate it.
That's why I needed to ask, so I can go back to her now, because I knew that was the answer,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to give that as the answer in case I was wrong. Yeah, with that clarification. So I'll go speak to her now, because her husband happens to be the director of the Family History Center.
Great. And give her that handout that's
I will.
a stake family history consultant job description. It's on
Yes.
the link.
It's
I
always
will
good
give
to
you that.
delegate to someone who knows what they're doing.
Because the poor high councillor, we've got a lot of Polynesians in our stakes here.
Uh-huh.
And they have a problem understanding a lot of things where it comes to family history. So for him to do the training, he's not going to have a clue what he's doing, the poor man.
Oh,
And I
well,
think in the
all he
calling
has to
maybe
do is
3
use
months.
one of our decks.
Mm-hmm.
Use one of our decks and just read what it says.
Exactly. Yeah. So not a problem. I can now honestly go back to her and say, well, this is what I learned, and this is what. See, they opened the centre because they were told that the church is disappointed that nobody's submitting names to the temple at the moment, so they needed to open the centre. And I thought, we're not submitting names to the temple because they're closed. But apparently she misunderstood something that was said. And yeah, I got clarification from somebody in another state. So it's all been interesting.
There's a piece of this submitting names. If you read the explanation of the Ward Family Activity Report, if you share a name with Temple File, it counts as shared with the temple.
Yes.
And all of us that are locked up for COVID, we can still find and share names, even if you have to come back to my world and do descendancy research. You can find names to share with the temple, and that counts as being submitted.
Exactly.
And that's in writing. There's a document that says if you share it with the temple, it counts as submitted.
Yeah. A lot of our members are collecting names for themselves because we've got multi-generational families doing family history work. But she thinks because people are not going to the temple right now that the church is upset. And she's got it all wrong, but it's okay. We'll work with her. Because I explained to her that more people are now doing memories, our indexing or sourcing.
Yes.
And that counts. And then, as I said, I spoke to someone else and they went, no, she got it all wrong at the meeting. The church understands that people aren't submitting names to the temple, but they're really happy that other areas of, the levels have gone up. So
that's exactly right. The church wants activity.
Exactly.
Activity. The numbers aren't that important, but if you do release numbers if people who have not printed out names before release numbers to the temple, that's going to be reflective on your family history activity report.
Yes.
And it's going to look great.
If you can get somebody interested in family history and doing their family history online, it's just as addictive as a video game.
Oh.
Does everybody agree with that? Addictive family history right here.
I work with a lot of non-members.
Right, Brother Brown? Wonderful.
Most of my work is with non-members and they're addicted. And so it's not just the church, it's outside as well. They get a little taste and they just go from there.
Yep. Well, does anybody else have any questions? Or shall we adjourn till next month?
Yeah.
Over.
Thank you so much. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Oh, we're so grateful to have this calling. We just love it. Can you tell?
Thank you so much. We appreciate all you do for us.
Oh, thank you.
Is this going to be up right away or when?
Yes.
Perfect.
As soon as it gets saved, it takes a little bit to save, and then we'll move it up into the one.
That would be lovely. Thank you so much for all your work.
Oh, please keep those emails coming. We love your ideas, and we need some great ideas for next month. So if you're struggling anywhere, we want to know what it is so we can
All
help.
right. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
God bless you. You're all in our prayers. Wonderful.
We are not paid to make these or conscripted in any way by the church to do so. We do this for our area and get them the very latest from Salt Lake as expediently as we can. It's our honor to serve you in this calling, and the rewards are many. Your responses have been amazing, and we're grateful. Ted and Karen Meyer. So join us next month. Our topic will be the new reorganization for stakes and consultant responsibilities. So that will be the third Saturday in August, August 15th at 5 p.m. Arizona time. So I'll let you figure that out. All right. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, and you'll always get an invitation to our Zoom meetings. And make sure that you check our blog, because anytime we learn something new, we want you to know too. Have a great month.